Who runs this place? Get out here. Now. The shout came with the slam of the glass door against the wall. Before anyone answered, the first man from the Iron Saints drove his boot into the nearest heavy bag. Look at this junk, the man said. They got people training on trash and calling it pride. Another man swept his arm across the front counter. The appointment book, waiver forms, and a jar of hand wraps crashed down. A ceramic mug shattered near the mat. A third man grabbed the old tip jar near the register and shook it. A few dollar bills and quarters rattled inside. This whole place ain't worth the gas it took to get here. He threw the jar against the wall. Coins scattered under the benches. Maya stood near the storage room hallway, a white towel in her hand. The scent of her fresh lemon cleaner was already lost under the smell of mud and damp winter coats. She watched them. The man in front dragged his mud-caked boots across the clean wood. He stopped in the middle of the room and spat his gum onto the floor. "You call this a gym?" he said. "Looks like an abandoned warehouse." Another man snatched a pair of red training gloves from the shelf and threw them into the mud, the ones Denise, a grocery store worker, used every Saturday. The tallest man pulled out his phone and started recording. He aimed it at the cracked mirror, the scuffed floor, the torn heavy bags, and the hand-painted sign above the wall. No ego. No hate. No quitting. "This is the problem with this neighborhood," he said into the camera. "People get offered money to move, but they cling to junk like this and cry unfair." One of the others laughed. "They want a handout." The man with the phone nodded. "If they knew how to build something worth keeping, we wouldn't need to clean it up." Tanya Brooks stepped out from behind the front desk. Her hands were tight at her sides. Her voice held. "You don't have an appointment. Leave." The tall man turned the phone toward her. "Listen to that. She thinks she's in charge." "I said leave." He moved closer, until he was almost in her face. "Or what?" Tanya did not step back. "Or I call the police." The men laughed again. Maya moved then. She came around the side of the counter. The towel stayed folded in one hand. "I'm the owner," she said. "What do you need?" The tall man turned the phone toward her. "There she is." One of the men looked her up and down. "That's the owner?" Maya did not answer. Her eyes moved from one man to the next. Boots, hands, phone, door, mirror, Tanya, broken mug, red gloves in the mud. Her face stayed still. Her breathing slowed. Her jaw set once. The towel did not twist in her hand. The tall man smiled. "Derek said you were stubborn. He didn't say you were stupid." Tanya stepped forward. "Watch your mouth." The phone swung back to her. "There it is. Attitude." Maya raised one hand a few inches. Tanya stopped. Her mouth stayed shut. The men spread out. One kicked over a crate of hand wraps. Church ladies had washed and rolled them after a fundraiser. Another tore down a photo from the bulletin board. It showed 3 women after a Saturday self-defense class. He ripped it in half and dropped it. A third man grabbed a marker from the front desk and walked to the mirror. He wrote in thick black letters across the glass, "Sell or get out." The marker squeaked with each stroke. Maya watched him write. Her eyes stayed on the mirror. The muscles in her throat moved once. Tanya reached for her phone. "That's enough. I'm calling the police." Before she could unlock it, one of the men snatched it from her hand. He held it high, watched her reach for it, then placed it face down on the counter. He tipped a leaking water bottle beside it. Water spread under the screen. "Tanya," Maya said. Tanya froze. The men laughed louder. The tall one stepped closer to Maya. "You should be grateful we came polite. Next time, people might not be so respectful." Maya bent down and picked up the torn photo from the floor. That made him grin. "Look at that. Big owner cleaning up after us." Tanya's face hardened. "You racist little..." "Tanya," Maya said again. Not loud, not sharp. Final. Tanya stopped. The heavy bag still creaked on its chain. Coins rolled under the bench. Water dripped off the counter. One of the men laughed under his breath. Maya stood in the center of the room and held the torn photograph in both hands. "You made your point," she said. "Leave." The tall man stared at her. His phone stayed aimed at her face. He waited for her to raise her voice. He waited for her to step toward him. He waited for one shove, one angry word. 1 second he could cut out and send to Derek. Maya gave him nothing. Her eyes stayed on his. Her shoulders stayed level. Her breathing stayed slow. Her hands stayed open around the torn paper. The 4 men moved toward the exit. They took their time. One stepped on the red gloves before leaving. Another kicked a roll of tape under the bench. At the door, the tall one looked back. Derek said, "Everybody learns eventually," he said. "Some people just need a harder lesson." Then they left. The bell above the door rattled after the glass shut. For a moment, Tanya did not move. Then she rushed to her phone, wiped it on her sleeve, pressed the side button, and cursed when the screen flickered and went black. "We're calling the police," she said, "and we're posting whatever we have." Maya was already gathering the torn photos. Maya placed the picture on the counter and smoothed it flat. The tear ran through one woman's face. "Maya, they walked in here and spit in your face. The front camera was blocked," Maya said. "So? Your phone is dead. So if we go loud right now, Derek gets to say we're making accusations without proof." Tanya stared at her. "You're worried about proof? After what they just did?" Maya looked at her. Her face stayed calm. Her eyes stayed fixed. "I'm worried about what happens when a black woman tells the truth in a room already waiting to call her angry." Tanya had no answer. Maya picked up the towel and walked to the mirror. She sprayed cleaner over "sell or get out" and began to wipe. The marker smeared first. It blackened the rag and blurred the glass. "You can't keep swallowing this," Tanya said. Maya kept wiping. "I'm not swallowing it. I'm remembering it." Across the street, a black SUV sat at the curb with the engine running. The windows were dark. Maya knew someone was watching. She did not look toward it. She put the gym back together. She wiped the mud off Denise's gloves, stacked the wraps, and dropped the loose coins back into the cracked jar one by one. Then she looked at the sign above the mirror. No ego. No hate. No quitting. Her breathing stayed even. The towel in her hand was black with ink. By 8 o'clock, the first regulars began to arrive. Earl Patterson came in through the front door with his canvas gym bag in one hand and a paper cup of black coffee in the other. He was 64, retired from the Army motor pool. He limped slightly on his right foot as he stepped inside and looked at the floor. The mud was gone, but not all of it. A brown line still sat deep between 2 boards. The front counter had been wiped down, but the broken mug was stacked near the sink. The mirror was clean, except for faint streaks where the black marker had been. Earl looked at Maya. "Trouble came early," he said. Maya folded a stack of waivers and placed them in the drawer. "Nothing. We couldn't clean." Earl set his coffee on the counter and looked at the heavy bag near the center of the room. The chain had shifted. The hook was bent a little to the left. "Who kicked my bag?" Maya did not answer right away. Tanya came out of the office with her dead phone wrapped in a towel. "Iron Saints." Earl's face changed. He did not raise his voice. He only put his bag down. "They touch you?" "No," Tanya said. "They touched everything else." Earl looked at Maya again. "You report it?" "We will," Maya said. "When we have enough to make it stick." Earl nodded once. He did not like the answer, but he understood it. Men his age had spent whole lives learning the difference between being right and being believed. He walked to the heavy bag and pressed both hands against the canvas. "This old thing has been through worse. You patched it last spring," Maya said. "And I'll patch it again." Nothing in the gym matched. The speed bag platform came from a closed recreation center on Kinsman. The folding chairs came from Reverend Thomas's basement. The medicine balls were high school surplus. It was built from leftovers, but it worked. At 8:15, Nurse Helen came in wearing blue scrubs under a winter coat. She worked nights at Street Ann's. Her eyes were tired. She always came straight from the hospital, trained for 40 minutes, then went home to sleep. She saw the broken mug near the sink. "That was ours." Tanya nodded. "I know." Helen looked toward Maya. "Tell me who did it." Maya handed her a clean pair of wraps. "Not today." Helen took them, but she did not move toward the mats. "Maya, not today," Maya repeated. Helen held her stare for a second, then lowered her voice. "You keep holding it in, Maya. That doesn't fix it." Maya checked the clock. "Class starts in 5. Helen let out a breath and went to the benches. By 9, the gym had 12 people inside. That was fewer than usual. Word had already moved down the block. People had seen the black SUV. People had heard the door slam. People had seen the Iron Saints come out laughing. Word moved fast down the block. In East Cleveland, people noticed a black SUV and a slammed door before the dust even settled. Denise Carter arrived late, still in her grocery store polo, her hair tied under a scarf. She went straight to the shelf and picked up the red gloves. Maya had cleaned them, but the leather still had a dull stain near one thumb. Denise rubbed it with her finger. "These were on the floor?" Maya said. "They're clean now." "That ain't what I asked." Tanya looked away. Denise turned the gloves over and put them back on the shelf with care. "My boy bought me those for Mother's Day." "I know," Maya said. Denise looked at the mirror, then at the faint marks left behind. They wrote something. "Yes." "What?" Maya did not answer. Denise understood anyway. Her mouth tightened. Same kind of men. Different year. The room got quiet. Earl was sitting on a bench, wrapping his hands. He looked up. No. Same kind of cowards. Different jackets. No one laughed. Maya clapped once. "Warm up." The class began. She kept the work simple. Footwork lines. Breathing. Shoulder rolls. Hands up. Step back. Reset. She walked between them with a stopwatch. She corrected Earl's stance. She reminded Helen not to hold her breath. She told Denise to loosen her grip. Her voice stayed level. Control first. Power later. That was what she always said. On the far wall, Tanya stood near the front desk with a borrowed tablet. She was trying to recover video from the security system. The front camera had shown only a blocked view. A black sleeve. A shoulder. A piece of the door. Not enough. The side camera caught the men leaving, but not the words. Not the marker. Not the phone. Not the threat. Tanya cursed under her breath. Maya heard it. "What do we have?" "Not enough." "Save it anyway." "I already did." Class ended at 10. People stayed longer than usual. They wiped equipment that was already clean. They picked up things that were already in place. No one wanted to say they were worried. No one wanted to leave too fast either. Reverend Thomas came in just before lunch with a foil pan covered in silver wrap. He was in his late 60s, tall, neat, and careful with his words. He placed the pan on the counter. "Biscuits," he said. "From the church kitchen." Tanya looked at him. "You heard." Half the block heard. Maya wiped her hands on a towel. "We're fine." The Reverend looked at the broken mug by the sink. Then he looked at the mirror. Fine is not always the same as safe. Maya did not answer. He lowered his voice. "Derek Harland has been visiting businesses up and down this street. Mr. Delgado got another offer yesterday. Denise told me her landlord called twice this week. The laundromat had inspectors again." Tanya crossed her arms. "So it's not just us." "No," Reverend Thomas said. "It is not just you." Maya walked to the front window. Across the street, the black SUV was gone, but the curb where it had sat was still wet from exhaust drip. The Reverend looked out the window. "They call it redevelopment, but you don't improve a neighborhood by running out the people who built it," Tanya said. "It's removal." He nodded. "Yes." Maya turned back. "What do you want me to do?" "Come to the church tonight. Let the business owners talk. Let people compare what has been happening." Maya's eyes moved to Tanya. Tanya looked ready to say yes for both of them. Maya said, "A meeting makes people visible. Sometimes that is the point." The Reverend said, "Sometimes that makes them targets." He accepted that. He did not argue. "I have lived long enough to know fear can be wise. I have also lived long enough to know it can become a habit." Maya looked down at the counter. A few coins from the tip jar had rolled into a crack near the register. She picked them out one by one. "I'll think about it," she said. Tanya made a small sound. "Maya, I said I'll think about it." The Reverend nodded. "That is enough for today." He left the biscuits and walked out. For the rest of the afternoon, the gym stayed open, but the rhythm was off. 2 members canceled by text. One asked if it was safe to park outside. Another said she would wait a few days before coming back. Maya answered each message the same way. We are open. We are safe. Take care of yourself. At closing time, Tanya locked the front door and turned the sign around. She stood there, with her hand still on the lock. You know they're trying to make people afraid to walk in here. Yes, and if people stop walking in, we don't have a gym. I know. Tanya turned. Then why are you acting like cleaning up is enough? Maya looked at the room. The repaired bag. The faint mirror streaks. The shelf where Denise's gloves sat. The broken mug pieces still by the sink. Because if I move wrong, Maya said, they won't talk about what they did. They'll talk about how I reacted. Tanya's anger faltered. If you feel for Maya in this moment, please like this video to show that her quiet strength matters, and comment where you are watching from, because maybe someone near you is watching this same story right now too. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional and inspiring stories. Maya picked up the foil pan of biscuits and set it in the small office for the morning. This place stays open tomorrow, she said. Tanya watched her. And after that, Maya shut off the front lights. We take one day they don't get to steal, she said. Outside, the barbershop sign flickered against the wet asphalt. Across the street, Mr. Delgado pulled the metal gate over his grocery store window, checked the sidewalk, and turned his key. Maya watched him from the shadows, then locked her own door. 3 days before the Iron Saints walked into the gym, Derek Harland came through the same glass door without mud on his shoes. That was the first thing Maya noticed. He wore a navy overcoat and carried a black leather folder under one arm. 2 men followed him, no leather jackets, but they stood near the door with loose hands, watching the exits and cameras. Maya was at the front counter, sorting membership cards. Tanya was in the office arguing with the printer. Earl Patterson was finishing his cool-down stretches near the back wall. Derek looked around the gym and nodded. Maya Williams? He asked. Maya closed the card box. That's me. Derek stepped forward and offered his hand. Maya looked at it, then at his face. She shook it once. I know who you are, she said. Derek smiled. Then, I hope that saves us both some time. Tanya came out of the office with a stack of printed schedules. She saw Derek and stopped. Derek noticed her. You must be the assistant. I'm the manager, Tanya said. Derek gave her the same smile. Of course. Maya did not react. Derek placed the folder on the counter and opened it. Inside was a purchase agreement, already tabbed with yellow stickers. He turned it toward Maya. I'll be direct. My company is acquiring several properties on this block. We're planning a mixed-use development, retail space, apartments, improved lighting, safer sidewalks, jobs, the kind of investment this neighborhood has been waiting for. Earl stopped stretching. Maya looked down at the first page. The offer amount was low, deliberate. This is for the whole lease transfer? She asked. For your interest in the business and cooperation in vacating the premises. The equipment? We can discuss removal. The members? Derek paused. Your members will find other facilities. Tanya gave a short laugh. Other facilities? Where? Derek turned to her. There are modern gyms, 10 minutes west of here. 10 minutes west by car, Tanya said. Most of our people take the bus. Derek nodded. Progress always requires adjustment. Maya kept her eyes on the document. This offer doesn't cover what I put into this place. It covers what the market says it's worth. The market didn't sand the floor. The market didn't fix the plumbing. The market didn't keep the lights on when half this street was boarded up. No, Derek said. But the market decides what survives. The gym got quiet. Maya closed the folder. Derek's smile stayed in place. You should think carefully before dismissing this. You're young, smart. You could take the money and start over somewhere with less friction. I already started over here. This block is changing. So people keep telling me. It is not a threat, Miss Williams. It's a fact. Maya slid the folder back across the counter. I'm not selling. Derek did not pick it up. You haven't heard the rest. I heard enough. He leaned forward a little. You run a boxing gym in a building with aging wiring, patched equipment, old floorboards, and a back exit that may or may not meet current code. You depend on insurance, licensing, rent stability, and the goodwill of people who can be influenced by what they hear. Tanya stepped closer. Is that supposed to be business talk? Derek did not look at her. He kept his eyes on Maya. I am saying ownership comes with exposure. A complaint here, an inspection there, a concerned parent, a concerned neighbor, a concerned city office. Things become complicated. Quickly. We don't train minors, Maya said. I didn't say you did. You said, concerned parent. He smiled. Did I? Maya's face did not change. Her left thumb pressed once against the edge of the counter, then went still. Derek straightened. Look, I respect what you're trying to do. I really do. People like having a place to feel important. But good intentions do not make a building valuable. Earl Patterson stepped forward. Careful. Maya turned her head slightly. Earl. He stopped, but his hands closed at his sides. Derek finally looked at him. Sir, this is a private business conversation, Earl said. Then talk like a businessman. One of Derek's men moved half a step from the door. Maya saw it. Derek saw her. See it. She turned back to Derek. You brought security to a business conversation? They came with me. That's not what I asked. Derek's jaw tightened. Only for a second. Then the smile came back. You are more difficult than I expected. I'm clear. There's a difference. Tanya stood beside Maya now. The answer is no. Derek looked at Tanya, then back at Maya. I prefer hearing it from the owner. Maya did not look down at the folder again. No. The men by the door stopped moving. Derek watched Maya for a long moment. The clean smile faded. You know, he said, a black woman your age should be careful about turning down help when it comes dressed this nicely. Tanya stepped forward. Say that again. Maya raised her hand. Tanya stopped, breathing through her nose. Derek smiled. That is a useful skill. Keeping people calm. You'll need it, Maya said. We're done. Derek picked up the folder, but he did not close it. You can say no to me. You cannot say no to the city. You cannot say no to inspectors. You cannot say no to insurance companies. You cannot say no to banks. You cannot say no to your landlord if he decides your lease is inconvenient. And you cannot say no to people who stop coming through that door because they decide this place is more trouble than it's worth. Maya held his stare. Derek lowered his voice. Everybody has a number. If it is not money, it is pressure. Maya said nothing. He closed the folder. I'll give you a few days. I don't need them. Yes, he said. You do. He turned toward the door. His men opened it before he reached it. At the threshold, Derek looked back at the room. The heavy bags, the mirror, the folding chairs. Earl, Tanya, Maya. This could have been easy, he said. Maya answered. For you, Derek smiled again. Everybody learns eventually. Then he walked out. No one moved until the door closed. Tanya threw the printed schedules onto the counter. Tell me, you heard what I heard. Maya opened the folder Derek had left behind by mistake. Not the whole folder. Just one copied page that had slipped loose and stayed on the counter. At the bottom was a map of the block. Williams' boxing and community gym was marked in red. So was Delgado's grocery. So was the barbershop. So was the laundromat. So was the church annex. Maya stared at the red boxes. Earl came up beside her. That man wasn't buying a gym. No, Maya said. Tanya looked at the map. He's clearing the block. Maya folded the page once and put it in the top drawer. Tanya stared at her. That's evidence. It's a copy of a page he can say he never saw. Then what do we do? Maya looked at the glass door Derek had walked through. Outside, his car pulled away from the curb. For now, she said, we keep the doors open. Tanya shook her head. That's it? Maya picked up the membership cards and went back to sorting them. No, she said. That's the part he gets to see. The first post appeared the next morning at 6:42. Tanya saw it before Maya did. She sat behind the desk with a borrowed phone, rebuilding her contacts, when the neighborhood page alert flashed. Community gym owner refuses cooperation after disturbance. Below the headline was a short video. It showed Maya in the dirty gym, Tanya in the background with her dead phone. Maya's audio was clear. Don't post anything. Not yet. Then it cut. The edit left out the gum, the broken mug, the mud on the red gloves, and the laughing men. It showed only Maya standing in a torn-up room, telling Tanya to be silent. Tanya watched it 3 times. Maya was near the back wall, adjusting a speed bag strap. What is it? You need to see this. Maya came to the counter. Tanya handed her the phone. The post already had 87 shares. Under it, the comments had started. Why hide footage if nothing shady happened? That place always looked sketchy. Boxing gyms bring trouble. They get offered a better future and still act like victims. She looks angry, not surprised. Maya read every line. Her face did not change. They cut everything before that, Tanya said. They made it look like you were hiding something. I know. Then say something. Maya handed the phone back. Not like this. Tanya stared at her. Not like this? Maya, they are already talking. Yes, and you're going to let them? Maya walked to the window. Across the street, Mr. Delgado unlocked his metal gate. He looked toward the gym once, then looked away. He looked afraid. Maya saw it. Tanya saw it too. The second post dropped at 8:10 from an anonymous account. It used a grainy freeze frame of Maya's face mid-sentence. The caption read, "Local gym owner refuses transparency after incident. What is happening inside Williams Boxing?" By 9, 3 more accounts copied it. By 10, the word safety concern appeared. By noon, a user called for a city inspection. Maya kept the gym open. She taught the morning class. She corrected Earl's feet, told Helen to keep her hands up, and showed Denise how to reset after a missed jab. Her voice stayed level. Her count stayed even. 1, 2, reset, breathe. Tanya read the screen at the desk. These places always claim to help the community until somebody gets hurt. Why is a boxing gym operating near small businesses anyway? Then a new one appeared. People like her always turn it into race when they don't get their way. Tanya put the phone down and walked away. Maya saw her from across the room. Tanya, I need a minute. Take one. Tanya went into the office and shut the door. The class ended in silence. Usually, they stayed for coffee and talk. But today, they packed their bags fast. Helen came to Maya before she left. You want me to write something? Say, what I saw? You didn't see the men come in. No, but I know you. That won't be enough. Helen did not like that. Since when does knowing someone count for nothing? Maya wiped down a pair of gloves. Since somebody with a camera decides they know them better. Helen looked toward the office door. Tanya, okay? She will be. Helen nodded and left. Call me if you need anything. I will. After lunch, Brenda Whitcomb from the nearby condo association left a voicemail. Hello, this is Brenda Whitcomb. I'm calling because several residents have expressed concern about recent activity at your facility. We support small businesses, of course, but we also believe safety and transparency are important. I hope you understand. Maya listened to the message once. Tanya came out of the office. Who was that? A concerned resident. Does she live near here? No. Then she's not concerned. She's useful. Maya saved the voicemail. Tanya saw that. Good. Finally, Maya wrote the time and number on a legal pad. Tanya leaned over the counter. I found 3 of the accounts pushing the post. They were created this week. Same language. Same timing. One of them shared Harland Development's project announcement last month. Save screenshots. Already did. Maya nodded. Tanya waited. That's it? That's it for now. You keep saying that, because it keeps being true. Tanya lowered her voice. I know what you're doing. You're trying to be careful. But careful doesn't stop men like Derek. No. Sloppy doesn't either. Maya looked at her. He wants a fight he can edit. I'm not giving him one. And if he keeps editing anyway, then we make sure the full version is ready. The phone rang again. Tanya answered before Maya could. Williams, boxing. She listened. No, ma'am. We are not under investigation. No, there was no arrest. No, we do not train minors. No, that's not true either. Maya reached for the phone, but Tanya turned away. Ma'am, if you have a question, ask it. Don't repeat Facebook garbage and call it concern. Maya said. Tanya. Tanya closed her eyes. Yes, ma'am. Have a good day. She hung up. Maya said nothing. Tanya gripped the edge of the desk. I know. Maya picked up the legal pad and wrote another note. What are you writing? Tanya asked. Time. Number. Summary. For what? For later. 2 more members canceled by text. One asked if the gym would stay open next week. Another said his wife didn't want him parking there after dark. Maya replied to each. We are open. We are operating. We are documenting everything. At 4:30, a man in a pressed shirt came in, sunglasses still on, and asked for a tour. Tanya asked him to fill out a visitor form. He refused. Maya told him the gym was not open for tours. He smiled, took a photo of the counter, and left. At 5:05, the photo was online. Caption: Went by to ask questions. Owner refused access. Tanya slammed her palm on the desk. That's it. Maya looked up from the waiver forms. No. He walked in here and lied in real time, and we have him on camera, refusing the visitor form. Maya pointed to the ceiling camera. Save it. Tanya went to the tablet and pulled the file. By closing time, Tanya had a folder ready on the laptop. The edited video, fake accounts, the voicemail, the visitor refusal, screenshots, cancellations, and the SUV's license plate. It was not enough to win, but it was enough to begin. Maya locked the cash drawer. Tanya sat by the laptop. You were quiet all day, she said. Maya shut off the coffee pot. No. She tapped the laptop casing. I was collecting. Outside, a car slowed near the curb and kept going. Tanya leaned back. You really think he'll make a mistake big enough? Maya looked at the mirror streaks under the overhead lights. He thinks he's smarter than us, she said. That's where men make mistakes. Tanya laughed. A short, tired sound. Maya turned off the lights. On the screen, the folder stayed open. Maya looked at the files in order. Then she created a new folder and named it Full Version. The city inspector arrived at 2:17 the next afternoon. The inspector came alone. He was a narrow man in a gray windbreaker with the city seal stitched over the chest. His name tag read L. Whitmore. He did not introduce himself until Maya asked. Tanya was at the front desk. Maya was replacing tape on the floor lines near the mats. Earl Patterson sat on a bench, tightening the laces on his old training shoes. The inspector stood just inside the door and looked around without greeting anyone. Owner? He asked. Maya stood. Maya Williams. He held up a folded notice. Routine safety inspection. Tanya looked at Maya. Routine? Whitmore's pen was already moving. Complaint-driven routine inspection. That's not routine, Tanya said. He did not look at her. Are you the owner? I'm the manager. Then I'll speak to the owner. Maya walked to the counter. Her hands were clean. Her voice stayed flat. What complaint? Multiple concerns about safety, capacity, and improper use of the premises. From who? I'm not required to disclose complainants during an active review. Tanya gave a short laugh. Of course you're not. Maya glanced at her. Tanya closed her mouth. Whitmore began at the front desk. He checked the sign-in sheet, the waiver stack, the first aid kit, and the fire extinguisher mounted near the door. He looked at the extinguisher tag for less than 2 seconds. That needs review. It was serviced last month, Maya said. Tag is partially obscured. Maya looked at the tag. The date was clear. A strip of tape covered the lower corner. I can remove the tape. He wrote it down. He walked to the mirror. The faint streaks from the marker were still visible when the light hit at an angle. Vandalism? He asked. Yes, Maya said. Reported? Not yet. We're gathering documentation. He wrote again. Failure to promptly report property damage. Tanya stepped forward. Are you serious? Whitmore kept writing. Interference with inspection will be noted. Maya did not turn. Tanya. Tanya stopped. The inspector moved to the heavy bags. He pushed one with 2 fingers. It swung once. Template concerns. This mounting looks unstable. Earl stood. It ain't unstable. Whitmore turned. Sir, please remain clear. I installed that mount. And are you licensed by the city? Earl stared at him. I was licensed to keep engines running in the desert, if that counts. It does not, Maya said. Earl sat down slowly. His face stayed hard. Whitmore pointed at the bag. Suspension hardware requires inspection by an approved contractor. It was damaged yesterday, Maya said. Then it should not be in use. It isn't in use. It is hanging in an active training area. Maya looked at the bag, then back at him. Noted. He marked the form. He moved to the back exit. He opened the door, looked at the alley, then looked at the frame. Exit signage inadequate. There's a sign above it. Faded. We can replace it today. He wrote, Emergency egress visibility violation. Tanya gripped the edge of the counter. Whitmore checked the floorboards near the mats. He pressed one with his shoe. Uneven flooring. That board has been like that for 6 months, Tanya said. Nobody has tripped on it. Whitmore looked at her for the first time. Safety standards are not based on whether someone has been hurt yet. Maya spoke before Tanya could. We'll repair it. He wrote. He walked to the crate of hand wraps. The crate had been kicked over the day before. Tanya had refolded everything that morning. Unsecured equipment. They're hand wraps, Tanya said. Unsecured equipment, he repeated. Maya folded her arms. Not tight. Controlled. What else? Whitmore looked at her. Do you always rush officials through inspections? No. I ask direct questions when someone walks in, with conclusions already written. His pen stopped. He clicked it once, then resumed writing. There is also a concern about the nature of instruction conducted here. Maya's face did not change. Adult fitness, boxing fundamentals, self-defense, breath and balance. No minors. No minors. No sparring without proper medical waivers. No sparring for beginners. No unsupervised sparring. Waivers on file. I'll need copies, Tanya said. You'll need a written request. Whitmore looked at Maya. Is she authorized to speak for the business? Maya said, yes. Then she should know cooperation affects outcomes. Maya held his eyes. So does accuracy. He closed his folder halfway. You will receive a written notice by email. You came with one, Tanya said. Whitmore hesitated for a fraction of a second. Preliminary checklist. May I see it? Maya asked. You'll receive the official version. Then I'd like your badge number. He gave it. Tanya wrote it down. He turned and walked out. Before he reached his car, a man in a black jacket passed him on the sidewalk, brushing briefly against the inspector's folder. Tanya watched them through the front window. Then Tanya went straight to the tablet. Tell me the side camera caught that. Maya locked the front door and turned the sign to closed for lunch. Pull the file. Earl stood from the bench. What happened? Tanya's fingers moved fast over the screen. A handoff, maybe. Outside the window. Maya came behind her. The footage loaded. Grainy. Wide angle. Front sidewalk. Whitmore exiting. Man in black jacket passing from right to left. Their hands met near the folder. Tanya slowed the clip. There. A white envelope. Flat. Gone in one motion. Earl muttered. Son of a... Save it, Maya said. Already saving. Save it twice. Tanya looked up. Maya, this is something. It's a start. At 4:06, the email arrived. Subject. Notice of conditional compliance. Failure. Maya opened it at the front desk with Tanya and Earl standing beside her. The notice listed 7 violations. Fire tag obscured. Unstable equipment. Inadequate exit signage. Uneven flooring. Unsecured equipment. Failure to report vandalism. Possible improper use classification. At the bottom, one line was bold. Failure to remedy listed items within 7 calendar days may result in temporary suspension of operations, pending further review. Tanya read it once, then again. They're setting us up. Maya clicked download and saved the file. Earl said, Can you fix the list? Yes, Maya said. Tanya turned to her. That's not the point. It is part of the point. No. The point is he came here to make a record Derek can use. I know. Maya printed 3 copies of the notice. One for the file, one for the lawyer, one for the wall calendar. She took a red pen, and wrote dates beside each item. Fire tag. Today. Exit sign. Today. Floorboard. Contractor. Bag hardware. Contractor. Equipment storage. Today. Vandalism report. Today. Use classification. Attorney. Tanya watched her. You're making a repair list? I'm removing excuses. Earl nodded. That's smart. Tanya turned on him. Don't encourage this. He picked up his jacket. I'm encouraging winning. Maya looked at him. Can you fix the exit sign? I can buy one before dinner. Receipt. He almost smiled. Yes, ma'am. By 5. The gym was a work site. Tanya took photos. Maya called the fire service company for records. Earl went to the hardware store for an exit sign and locking bins. Helen texted a contact for a licensed contractor to inspect the bag mounts. At 6:30, Reverend Thomas came by with Mr. Delgado and Denise Carter. Delgado brought a folder under his arm. Denise carried coffee in a cardboard tray. I heard the city came, Denise said. Tanya took a coffee. The city came dressed as Derek. Delgado placed his folder on the counter. He sent inspectors to me too. Health department. Twice in 1 week. Same man parked outside both times. Maya opened the folder. Photos, notices, dates. A copy of a complaint about expired food that Delgado said he never sold. Reverend Thomas said, the laundromat received a warning about electrical load. The church annex got another noise complaint. During what? Tanya asked. Bible study. Denise snorted. Lord must be too loud. No one laughed. Maya laid the papers side by side. Her notice. Delgado's notice. A copy of the church complaint. Denise's landlord letter. Same week. Same language. Same phrase. In 3 documents. Ongoing community concern. Tanya circled it with a pen. He's using templates. Maya took a photo. The front door opened again. Derek Harland stepped in. Clean coat. Clean shoes. Black folder. Everyone turned. Derek looked at the papers on the counter, then at Maya. Busy day. Maya did not answer. He smiled. Inspections can be stressful. Tanya moved toward him. You need to leave. Derek ignored her. I came to check whether Miss Williams had reconsidered. Maya stood behind the counter. No. His smile thinned. 7 days can pass quickly. So can a recorded timeline, Maya said. For the first time, Derek's eyes moved to the cameras. Maya saw it. So did Tanya. Derek closed his folder without opening it. Careful, Maya. Paperwork has a way of becoming permanent, Maya said. So does evidence. Derek looked at her, then turned and left. Tanya whispered, he knows. Maya looked at the notices on the counter. The photos, the dates, the repeated language, the side camera still of the envelope. No, Maya said. He thinks he knows. She picked up a clean folder and wrote on the tab, City. The call came at 9:18 the next morning. Tanya answered, because Maya was in the back room sorting contractor receipts for the city file. Williams boxing. She listened. Her face went still. No, that's not possible. Maya heard the change in her voice and came out. Tanya turned slightly away from the front desk. I was here all afternoon. We have cameras. Another pause. No, officer. I understand. I'm saying whoever told you that is lying. Maya stepped closer and held out her hand for the phone. Tanya shook her head. Yes, Tanya said. I'll come in. No, I'm not coming alone. She hung up. Maya said, what happened? Tanya set the phone down. They want me to come answer questions. About what? The broken window at Delgado's. Maya looked toward the front door. Across the street, Mr. Delgado's grocery had its metal gate halfway down. A sheet of plywood covered the left front window. It had not been there at dawn. When? Last night. Around 10. You were here until 10:30. I know. Maya walked to the office and came back with the laptop. Pull the footage. I already know what it shows. Pull it anyway. Tanya sat down and opened the camera files. Her fingers clicked the keys. Twice, she clicked the wrong folder. Maya stood beside her. The footage loaded. 9:42 p.m. Tanya at the front desk, scanning invoices. 10:03 p.m. Maya at the back table, labeling receipts. 10:21 p.m. Tanya. taking out trash through the rear door. 10:28 p.m. Tanya back inside. 10:36 p.m. Lights out. 10:39 p.m. Both women leaving together through the front. Maya copied the file to a drive. Tanya's jaw worked once. They used a picture of me, didn't they? Maya did not answer. At 9:41, Denise Carter came in without knocking. She had her coat over her grocery uniform and her phone in her hand. You seen this? She held up the screen. A post from another anonymous account showed Tanya walking past Delgado's storefront. The image was grainy. The caption was not, "Community safety questions grow. Gym manager seen near store hours before vandalism." Tanya stared at the screen. That was yesterday morning. I went to buy coffee, Denise said. I know that. The picture makes it look like night. I know that too. Maya took the phone. The photo had been darkened. The timestamp was cut out. Tanya's face was clear. The store sign was clear. Maya handed the phone back. Screenshot it. Send it to me. Already did, Denise said. Mr. Delgado came through the door next. His eyes were tired. He held a paper bag from his own store, folded at the top. Tanya, he said, I know it was not you. Tanya stood. You shouldn't even have to say that. I want you to hear me say it. He placed the bag on the counter. Inside were 2 coffees and a package of powdered donuts. You bought coffee from me yesterday at 8/7. My register has the receipt. Camera too. I saved both. Maya looked at him. Thank you. He nodded. The police already came to my store. They asked if I had problems with your gym. Tanya's mouth opened. No words came out. Delgado continued. I told them I had problems with men who break windows and men who pretend not to know who sent them. Denise looked toward the street. Careful, saying that too loud. I am tired of whispering, Delgado said. Maya picked up the flash drive from the desk. We're going to the station. Tanya looked at her. Now? Now. Reverend Thomas arrived as they were leaving. Maya called him from the parking lot. He pulled up in an old Buick and stepped out in a dark coat. Bible still on the passenger seat. I'll drive, he said. Tanya said. Reverend, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Maya locked the gym. Denise stayed behind to wait for Earl and Helen. Delgado went back to his store to gather his footage. The police station sat 10 minutes west, a low brick building with flags out front. Tanya said nothing on the ride. She held the flash drive in both hands. At the front desk, an officer asked for her name, then told her to sit. Maya stayed standing. The officer looked up. She can wait over there. She's not alone, Maya said. This is a voluntary interview. Then she is voluntarily not doing it without counsel. The officer looked at Reverend Thomas. And you are? A witness to character, he said. That's not a legal category. No, the Reverend said. But it is still true. The officer did not smile. They waited 40 minutes. A detective named Carr finally came out. He was in his 50s, heavy around the shoulders, with reading glasses hanging from his collar. He looked at Tanya first, then Maya. Miss Brooks? Yes. I just have a few questions, Maya said. We have video. Carr paused. Of the incident? Of Tanya being at the gym when the incident happened. He looked at the flash drive. You brought it? Maya held it up. We also have the grocery receipt from Mr. Delgado showing she was there in the morning, not at night. His full camera file is coming. Tanya spoke then. Her voice was controlled, but thin. I did not break his window. Carr looked at her. I didn't say you did. You called me in because someone wanted you to think I did. That's why we ask questions. Maya said. Who submitted the image? Carr looked at her. We're not discussing that at the desk. Then discuss it with our attorney. Carr took off his glasses. You have an attorney? We do. Name? Maya gave it. He wrote it down. They were moved to a small interview room. Maya placed the flash drive on the table but did not let go until Carr brought in another officer to log it properly. The chain of custody form was filled out. Tanya signed nothing without reading it twice. Carr watched the footage. He did not speak while it played. Tanya at the desk. Tanya by the copier. Tanya taking out trash. Tanya returning. Tanya leaving with Maya. Carr rewound the 10:21 clip and played it again. This rear camera timestamp accurate? Maya said. Synced to the security system. We have service records. He nodded. Reverend Thomas sat in the corner with his hands folded. Carr leaned back. This helps. Tanya gave a short laugh. Helps? Maya looked at her. Tanya stopped, but her face stayed tight. Carr said, Miss Brooks, I understand you're upset. No, Tanya said. You understand I have proof. That's different. Carr accepted that. Fair enough. Maya slid printed screenshots across the table. The post used a morning image and altered it to look like night. It was posted by an account created this week. Same account shared content tied to Harland development. Carr looked through the pages. You're making a broader allegation. I'm documenting a pattern. Against who? Maya held his eyes. Derek Harland. Carr did not react much, but his pen stopped moving. On the way back to the gym, Tanya sat in the back seat of Reverend Thomas's Buick, pressing her hands flat against her knees. I hate that I had to prove where I was, she said. Maya turned in the front passenger seat. Tanya kept going. I hate that one picture was enough for people to believe it. I hate that I knew exactly how they would look at me before they even said my name. Reverend Thomas kept both hands on the wheel. They make you work for what's yours. Tanya looked out the window. I'm not tired. I'm angry, Maya said. Good. Tanya looked at her. Anger tells you something is wrong, Maya said. Discipline keeps them from using it against you. Tanya wiped her face with the heel of her hand. You always sound calm when you say things like that. I'm not always calm. You look calm. That's different. When they reached the gym, Delgado was waiting with his own flash drive. Helen had come too, still in scrubs, with a box of sandwiches from the hospital cafeteria. Earl had repaired the heavy bag mount enough to keep it from sagging. Denise had printed the anonymous post and taped it to a folder marked Tanya. Tanya stared at the folder. You made me a file? Denise said. They made you a target. We made you a record. Maya took the new evidence and placed it on the counter. Delgado's footage. Our footage. Altered post. Police contact. Witnesses. Timeline. Tanya nodded slowly. At 5:12, Maya's attorney called. She had spoken to Detective Carr. Tanya was not a suspect. The investigation would remain open, but the footage cleared her for the time in question. Tanya sat down on the bench. Maya walked to the front desk and opened the laptop. She created another folder inside Full Version and named it Tanya. She looked across the room at the others. They tried her first, Maya said. Tanya looked up. Maya's voice stayed even. They won't stop with her. Maya closed the gym at 9:05 that night, but she did not leave. Tanya wanted to stay. Maya said no. You shouldn't be alone, Tanya said. I won't be long. That's not what I said. Go home, Maya said. Eat. Charge the phone. Tanya did not smile. Maya, I need the room quiet. Tanya looked toward the office, where the laptop sat open with the folders they had built. Full Version. City. Tanya. She looked back. You call me if anything feels wrong. I will. You never do. Tonight I will. Tanya left. Maya watched her get into Denise Carter's car from the front window. The car pulled away and disappeared around the corner. Maya locked the door again. The gym settled into silence. She moved to the back and checked the heavy bag mount Earl had fixed. He had left a note taped to the chain. Good enough for light work. Don't let fools kick it. Maya took the note down and folded it once. She checked the tape lines, tightened the leather straps, and put the red gloves back on the shelf. Then, she walked to the storage room for tape. The rear door made a small sound. Maya stopped. The door frame still had a weak spot near the lower hinge, where it had been forced before. A scrape followed. Then, a hard push. Maya set the tape on the shelf. She stepped out of the storage room, angling her left side toward the hallway. The door opened 4 inches. 2 men came in. They wore Iron Saints jackets. One had a black cap pulled low. The other held a phone with the camera light on. The man with the phone smiled. Working late? Maya looked at the phone, then at the rear door. You're trespassing. The man in the cap pushed the door closed behind him. Door was open. No. Looks open now. The phone stayed on her. Maya did not advance. Leave. The man with the phone laughed, softly. That all you know how to say? The man in the cap stepped closer. Derek says you've been telling stories. Manya kept her hands low and open. I said leave. He also says you got a temper. The man in the cap stepped into her space. We came to see it. Maya stepped back into the open floor. The man followed. That's right, he said. Back up. Maya kept her chin down. Her eyes fixed on his chest. His right shoulder hitched. The man reached for her left shoulder. Maya slipped outside. Her head cleared his hand by an inch. His fingers caught air. He blinked. The man with the phone shifted. Do that again, Maya said. You need to leave. The man in the cap smiled, but the smile was thinner now. He reached again, faster. Maya ducked under his arm, stepping 2 paces away near the center bag. The phone swung to follow her. See? The man with the phone said. She's trained. She's trying to start something. Maya did not answer. The man in the cap lunged. Not a punch, a grab. Enough to force contact. Enough to make a clip. Maya pivoted. His weight carried him forward, his boots sliding on the wood. He stumbled into the heavy bag, making the chain scrape. The canvas swung between them. Maya put one hand on the bag and stopped it. Camera in the corner is recording, she said. Both men looked up. The corner camera above the storage hallway had a small red light. The man with the phone lowered his chin. So what? So your phone has one angle. Mine has the room. The man in the cap stared at her. His right hand flexed, but he didn't move. Maya stood still, hands open, feet set. No threat, no invitation. You think you're smart, he said. No. You think you can hide behind cameras? No. Then what? I think you came here to make me look violent, Maya said. And you failed. The man with the phone stopped smiling. The man in the cap took one more step toward her. Maya did not step back this time. He raised his hand, fast, toward her face. Maya slipped. His palm passed her cheek. She did not strike back. She only stepped toward the front of the gym. You're done, she said. The man in the cap cursed under his breath. The phone man said, Let's go. No, the man in the cap said. Maya reached to the wall and hit the alarm keypad. The siren wailed. The man with the phone backed toward the rear door. We got enough. You got nothing, Maya said. He pointed at her. Derek will decide that. They left through the rear door. The frame shook when it closed. Maya waited, then crossed the room and slid the temporary bolt into place. She called Tanya. Tanya answered on the first ring. What happened? 2 men came in through the back. I knew it. I knew it. Are you hurt? No. Did they touch you? They tried. Tanya went quiet. Maya, I'm fine. Get Reverend Thomas. Ask Denise to stay with you. Do not come alone. I'm coming now. Not alone. Maya hung up before Tanya could argue. Then she went to the laptop. The corner camera footage was clear. The open door, the phone light, the reaches, the slips, and the duck. Maya moved, but never struck. She saved the file. Then she saved a second copy. By the time Tanya, Denise, and Reverend Thomas arrived, Maya had the footage clipped into 2 versions. Full file, timeline file. Tanya watched without speaking. When the man reached for Maya's shoulder and grabbed air, Denise whispered, What was that? Maya did not answer. The duck played next. Fast, controlled. Reverend Thomas leaned closer to the screen. Maya, I didn't hit him, she said. No, he said. You did not. Tanya replayed it, then looked up at Maya. They wanted you to touch them, Tanya said. Yes, and you didn't. No. Denise crossed her arms. Derek's going to hate this video. Maya looked at the frozen frame. Her body was already clear of the man's reach. He won't use it, she said. Tanya nodded slowly. Because it doesn't give him what he came for. Maya reached for the laptop and opened the full version folder. She created a new folder. She named it Bait Attempt. Tanya looked at the title. That's what this was. Maya saved the file inside it. That's what it will be called. Reverend Thomas looked toward the broken rear frame. You need that door replaced tomorrow. It will be. Denise picked up her phone. My cousin does commercial doors. I'll call him now. Tanya kept watching Maya. Where did you learn to move like that? Maya closed the laptop halfway. Old habit, she said. Tanya waited for more. Maya gave her nothing else. Outside, down the block, a car slowed near the gym and then kept going. Maya looked at the rear door. Her voice was cold. He'll try something else. Tanya nodded. Then we add another folder. Maya looked at the laptop. Yes, she said. We do. By Monday morning, the gym was open, but the room felt different. Maya unlocked the front door at 5. She turned on the lights. She started the coffee. She checked the rear door 3 times before she touched anything else. The new commercial lock had been installed the day before by Denise's cousin, and the invoice was already in the city folder. Tanya arrived at 5:34 with 2 coffees, a charger, and a face that said she had not slept enough. You check the back? 3 times, Maya said. Good. Check it again. Maya did. Tanya watched her do it. The first class had 8 names on the list. Only 3 showed up. Earl came first. He did not mention the missing people. He put his bag down, nodded to Maya, and went straight to the bag he had patched. Helen came in next, still in scrubs, with a hospital badge clipped to her coat. She looked at the empty benches and said nothing. Denise came last. She wore her grocery store polo under a jacket and carried her red gloves in her hand instead of leaving them on the shelf. Maya saw that. She did not ask. Tanya looked at the sign-in sheet. 5. No-shows. Start the timer, Maya said. The class began. The room had too much space in it. Every footstep sounded clear. Every bag strike had an answer from the walls. Maya kept the work steady. Step, guard, jab, reset, breathe. She corrected Denise's stance. She told Helen to stop locking her knees. She reminded Earl not to overwork his right shoulder. Nobody joked. At 6:22, Maya's phone buzzed on the front counter. Then Tanya's borrowed phone buzzed. Then Helen's. Denise stopped mid-combination. What now? Tanya picked up her phone and read. Her mouth tightened. What? Maya asked. Tanya turned the screen around. A local news site had posted a short piece. Community gym under investigation, after multiple complaints. The photo was of Maya standing in front of the mirror, taken through the front window. Her face was neutral. The headline made it look like guilt. The article mentioned safety concerns, neighborhood complaints, possible licensing issues, and a recent disturbance. It did not mention Derek. It did not mention Iron Saints. It did not mention the broken window frame, the edited video, the fake accounts, or Tanya being cleared. Helen took the phone from Tanya and read the first paragraph. They make it sound like you're the problem, she said. Maya wiped her hands with a towel. That was the point. Denise turned toward the front window. Who took that picture? Tanya scrolled. No byline? Staff report. Earl walked over and read over her shoulder. Staff is a coward's name. Maya reached for her own phone. 2 messages had already come in. Sorry, Maya. Going to pause my membership until things settle. My wife saw the article. I think I need to take a break. A third arrived while she was reading. Are you still allowed to operate? Maya placed the phone face down. Tanya saw it. How many? 3. Already? Maya said nothing. The morning class ended early. Not because Maya stopped it, because no one could focus. Earl wiped down the bag twice. Helen sat on the bench and stared at the floor. Denise put her red gloves into her gym bag and zipped it shut. At 8:10, the insurance company called. Maya put it on speaker because Tanya was standing right there. The woman on the line sounded polite. She said the company had received notice of increased risk connected to the property. She said the file was under review. She said coverage remained active for now, but Maya would need to submit proof of code compliance, updated safety procedures, and a written explanation of recent incidents. Tanya wrote every word down. Maya asked, "Who sent the notice?" "I'm not authorized to disclose the source of third-party risk reports." "Was it a city office?" "I can't say." "Was it Harland Development Group?" The woman paused. "I can't say." Maya looked at Tanya. Tanya wrote. She paused. After the insurance call, the bank called. Then, the landlord. The landlord's name was Mr. Hanley. He lived in Parma and had inherited the building from his father. He had always been fair with Maya. Not warm, fair. That day, he sounded tired before he said hello. Maya, I'm getting pressure. From who? You know from who? Say it. He exhaled. Harland's people. They made an offer on the building. A serious one. It's not for sale. Everything is for sale when taxes go up and lawyers start sending letters. Maya kept her voice steady. We have a lease. You do. For now. Tanya's head snapped up. Maya asked, what does that mean? It means I need you to resolve whatever is going on. I don't want trouble with the city. I don't want insurance problems. I don't want my building on the news. You think I want that? No. I think you're in something bigger than you can handle. Maya's fingers rested on the counter. They did not curl. Mr. Hanley continued. I'm not terminating anything today. But if the city suspends your operation, or if my insurer flags the property, I'll have to protect myself. Maya said, send that in writing. He was quiet. Then he said, you always were careful. Yes, I'll email you. The line clicked off. Tanya stared at the phone. He's going to fold. Maybe. Maybe? Maya, he just told you. He told me he's scared. And Derek knows it. Maya saved the call log and wrote the time. By noon, the gym was empty. Not closed. Empty. The coffee pot sat full. The box of protein bars Helen had donated stayed untouched. The jump ropes hung in a straight line. The bags hung still. A city bus stopped outside and pulled away without anyone getting off. Maya stood at the front desk and answered messages. We are open. We are documenting the situation. Your membership is safe. Take the time you need. Tanya hated every reply. You sound like customer service during a storm delay. It's what they need. They need to know we're fighting. They need to know they won't be punished for being afraid. Tanya had no answer for that. At 1:30, Reverend Thomas came in. He took off his hat, looked around the room, and did not hide what he saw. Quiet day. Yes, Maya said. He placed a small paper bag on the counter. Peach turnovers. Mrs. Bell made too many for the senior lunch. Tanya opened the bag. She never makes too many. No, he said. She made them for you. Maya looked away for a moment, then back. Thank her for me. I will. But she would prefer you come thank her yourself at church tonight. I can't. The Reverend nodded. Because of the article. Because of what comes after the article. He looked at the mirror. The streaks were still there under the light. People are worried. I know. Some are ashamed they are worried. I know that too. He stepped closer. Do not mistake absence for betrayal. Fear makes people step back before they know they have moved. Maya folded another notice into the file. And what if they don't step forward again? Then we go get them. Tanya gave a quiet, amen, from behind the counter. Maya almost smiled. Almost. At 3:05, Coach Raymond Ellis arrived. He came in through the front door with a wooden cane in one hand and a paper cup of coffee in the other. He was 65, broad in the shoulders, with a gray beard trimmed close. He had the posture of someone who had spent decades telling fighters to keep their hands up. Maya saw him and stopped writing. Coach. Raymond looked around. His eyes went to the empty benches, then to the repaired rear door, then to the sign above the mirror. You got enough coffee for an old man? Tanya reached for a cup. Always. He took it and sat near the ring apron. No one had called it a ring in years, but Raymond still did. He watched Maya sort papers for a while. Then he said, You look like a person trying to win a fight without stepping into the ring. Tanya looked between them. Maya closed the folder. I don't want a ring. Raymond nodded. I know. I built this place so people could walk in without being watched, judged, or used. And now someone is using it anyway. Maya did not answer. Raymond leaned both hands on his cane. You cannot control what they call you. I can control what I give them. Yes, Maya looked at him. He continued. But if you let that man tell the whole story, he will bury you inside it. Tanya went still. Maya's jaw set. I'm not buried. No, Raymond said. Not yet. The words stayed in the room. Maya looked at the empty benches, at the untouched coffee. At Denise's red gloves missing from the shelf because Denise had taken them home. At the folder marked City. At the folder marked Tanya. At the new one marked Bait Attempt. Raymond stood slowly. I did not come to push you. Then why did you come? To see if you remembered how to breathe. Maya's face did not change. Raymond held her eyes for 1 second longer than anyone else would have dared. Then, he nodded to Tanya and walked out. Tanya waited until the door closed. What was that about? Old coach stuff. He knows something. Maya picked up the folder. He knows me. That is not the same answer. No. Are you going to tell me? Maya looked at the dark window. Traffic moved beyond it. A man across the street lifted his phone, took a picture of the gym, and kept walking. Not today, she said. By closing time, 6 more members had paused their accounts. The landlord had sent his email. The insurance company wanted documents within 5 business days. The article had been shared over 800 times. Tanya sat at the front desk with both hands on the laptop. Today hurt us. Yes, Maya said. Bad? Yes. Tanya looked at her. And you're still waiting. Maya turned off the coffee pot. I'm still counting. Counting what? Maya looked at the folders on the screen. Every hand that touches this. Tanya followed her gaze. City, Tanya, Bait Attempt, Insurance, Landlord, Media. The list was growing. The gym was quiet. Maya locked the front door, but she left one light on above the mirror. The streaks in the glass showed under it. Tanya stood beside her. They're trying to make this place look empty, Tanya said. Maya looked at the empty room. No, she said. They're making a record of how hard they had to work to empty it. After Tanya left, Maya stayed in the gym alone. She did not turn on music. She did not turn on the television mounted above the front counter. She left one light on over the mirror and another in the office. The rest of the room stayed dim. The folders were open on the laptop. City, Tanya, Bait Attempt, Insurance, Landlord, Media. Maya added one more. Timeline. She opened a clean document and began writing everything in order. Derek's first visit, the low offer, the marked map, the Iron Saints breaking in through the front door, the edited video, the anonymous posts, Inspector Whitmore, the envelope outside the window, Tanya being called in by police, the 2 men at the rear door, the news article, the insurance call, Mr. Hanley's email, Coach Raymond's warning. She wrote without extra words. Date, time, person, action, evidence. At 11:13, she stopped. The gym had been quiet for almost 2 hours. The street outside had thinned down to passing cars and the soft pull of tires on wet pavement. The black SUV had not returned. That did not make Maya feel safe. It only meant Derek had changed distance. She closed the laptop, but did not shut it down. Then she walked to the small office in the back. The office had a metal desk, 2 filing cabinets, a stack of cleaning supplies, and an old locker Maya had brought from a closed YMCA. The locker was dented at the bottom. One hinge stuck. Tanya kept asking to replace it. Maya always said no. Maya knelt and reached behind a box of spare jump ropes. Her hand found the small lockbox. It was black, plain, heavy. For its size, she set it on the desk. For a full minute, she did nothing. Then she took a key from the chain around her neck and opened it. Inside were no medals, no photos, no newspaper clippings, no belt, only a pair of red hand wraps, folded tight. The cloth was old. The edges had frayed. Dark marks sat in the fabric where tape had once held them down. Maya touched them with 2 fingers. I promised I'd never need you again, she said. Her voice was low. The office took the words and kept them. She sat in the desk chair and began wrapping her left hand. Slow, flat, around the wrist, across the knuckles, between the fingers, back to the wrist. She did the right hand the same way. She flexed both hands once, not to fight, to remember order. Her breathing changed. 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. She had learned that before cameras, before headlines, before men like Derek knew her name. A knock came at the front door. Maya looked up. Not hard, not frantic. 3 taps. She stood and left the office. Tanya was outside the glass door. holding Reverend Thomas's borrowed phone and a brown paper bag. Maya unlocked the door. "I told you to go home," Maya said. "I did. Then I came back." "That's not how going home works." Tanya stepped in. "Denise is parked outside. She said she'll sit there until I'm done." Maya looked through the window. Denise's car was at the curb. Its hazard lights blinked once. Tanya held up the paper bag. "Mrs. Bell sent cornbread. Don't argue with churchwomen." "I wasn't going to." Tanya walked toward the counter, then stopped. She saw Maya's hands. The red wraps were cleanly tied. Tight. Professional. Tanya looked at them. "What are those?" "Old wraps. I can see that." Maya went behind the counter. "Why did you come back?" Tanya did not let it go. "You don't rap like somebody who took a fitness class." Maya opened the laptop again. "Derek's lawyer sent something?" "No. Worse. Better. I don't know." She put the borrowed phone on the counter and opened an email. "A woman named Carla from Brightstone Media messaged me. She used to schedule live streams for Harland Development. Contract work. She says they fired her and never removed some of her access." Maya's eyes lifted. Tanya continued. She saw the article. She saw one of the fake posts. She says Harlan has a promotional live stream scheduled for Friday evening. Big announcement for the redevelopment project. Same block. Our block. Maya looked at the screen. "Why tell you?" "Because she grew up 2 streets from here. Her mother used to go to Reverend Thomas's church. And because Derek stiffed her on the last invoice." Maya took the phone and read the message. Carla had written in clear terms. She still had access to the scheduling dashboard for Harland Development's public page. She would not hack anything. She would not steal passwords. But if Tanya had a legal stream link, Carla could show her how scheduled broadcast routing worked. She also warned that Harland's page was set to auto-publish any approved live source at 7 p.m. Friday. Tanya watched Maya's face. "Say something." Maya read it again. "This is useful." "That's all?" "It may be more than useful." Tanya leaned forward. "Maya, if Derek does anything on camera, if we have a clean feed, if Carla's telling the truth, we could put it where Harlan can't pretend they didn't see it." Maya closed the message and opened the timeline folder. "Tanya, what? If we do this, we don't get to be sloppy. I know. No edited clips. No guesses. No captions we can't prove. No emotion in place of evidence." Tanya nodded. "Full version. Full version." Tanya looked again at Maya's hands. "Is that why you wrapped up? For focus?" Maya did not answer right away. Then she said, "For discipline." Tanya sat down. "You keep using that word. Because anger is easy. And this isn't?" "No." Tanya opened the laptop and pulled up the folders. "Then, let's build it." For the next 2 hours, they worked. Maya wrote the master timeline. Tanya matched every entry with a file. Inspector footage, police call, Delgado receipt, Tanya's alibi, rear door bait attempt, insurance call notes, landlord email, fake account screenshots, the photo from the news article, the visitor who refused to sign in, the still image of the envelope near Whitmore's folder. Every file got a label. Every label got a date. Every date got a backup. At 1:06 a.m., Tanya stopped typing and rubbed her eyes. This is not enough to arrest him. No, but it is enough to make him nervous. Yes. Tanya looked at Maya. Then, what's missing? Maya looked toward the front door. Derek in the room. Derek giving the order. Derek making the threat himself. Tanya's fingers stilled on the keyboard. You think he will? I think he has been sending everyone else because he thinks he's careful. And Maya looked at the red wraps on her hands. Careful men get careless when they think the other person is cornered. Tanya sat back. Outside, Denise tapped her horn once. Not loud. Just a reminder. Tanya gathered the phone and the cornbread bag. At the door, she looked back. Are you ever going to tell me what those wraps really mean? Maya stood behind the counter with the laptop open and the files arranged in order. Not tonight. Tanya held her gaze. But someday? Maya said nothing. Tanya nodded as if that was the answer she expected. Lock the door behind me. I will. After Tanya left, Maya returned to the office. She did not take the wraps off. She sat at the desk and opened one more blank document. At the top, she typed one line. If he comes to make me sign, he must be recorded from every angle. Then she added 6 bullet points. Front camera, side camera, rear camera, office camera, audio backup, live routing. She saved the file inside a new folder. Trap. Maya looked at the word for a moment. Then she changed it. She renamed the folder Friday. Friday came with rain. It started before dawn and stayed light enough to make the street shine but not hard enough to keep people home. Maya opened the gym at 5. As usual. She turned on the coffee pot. She checked the rear lock. She checked the office camera. She checked the side camera near the storage hall. She checked the front camera above the door. Then she checked the audio recorder under the counter. Tanya arrived at 5:28 with a laptop bag, 2 phones, and no coffee. Maya looked at her hands. No coffee? I'm nervous. Coffee would make me worse. That bad? Tanya put the bag on the counter. Carla confirmed the stream path. Harland's public page is still scheduled for 7 tonight. If we send a clean live source at the right time, it can route through the page before their people notice. Can they stop it? Yes. How fast? If they're watching? Fast. If they're not? Long enough. How long is long enough? Tanya opened the laptop. Long enough for people to screen record. Long enough for comments. Long enough for reporters to get tagged. Long enough for Harland to wish they had paid Carla's invoice. Maya nodded once. No illegal access. None. Carla is using credentials they never revoked. She sent screenshots. The lawyer said we don't touch their system directly. We send our stream to a link already scheduled. Carla handles routing from her end. Good. Tanya looked at her. You slept? No. Me neither. They worked without music. Tanya tested the stream using a private feed. Maya walked the camera angles. Front door, counter, mirror, office entrance, rear hall. The spot beneath the no ego, no hate, no quitting sign. At 8, Earl came in with a toolbox instead of a gym bag. What needs fixing? He asked. Maya pointed to the side camera. Cable cover. He looked at it. You want it hidden or protected? Both, he grunted. That kind of day. Yes. By 10, Helen had dropped off a hospital power bank. Denise brought a spare phone and 2 extension cords. Reverend Thomas came with a list of numbers written by hand. Attorney, reporter, assistant district attorney, fire department non-emergency line, 3 church deacons, and a retired judge from his congregation. Maya took the paper. This is a lot, the Reverend said. Trouble likes isolation. We are removing that. At 11:42, the email came. It was from Derek's lawyer. Notice of final resolution meeting. Tanya read it aloud. Harland development representatives will arrive at Williams Boxing and Community Gym at 7 p.m. to execute voluntary transfer documents and address operational closure due to pending compliance failure. She stopped. Voluntary. They actually wrote voluntary. Maya held out her hand. Tanya gave her the laptop. At the bottom of the email was an attachment. Temporary suspension of operations. Signed by Inspector Leonard Whitmore. Timestamp. Thursday, 4:13 p.m. Tanya leaned over Maya's shoulder. He signed it yesterday. Before tonight. Before the final inspection he never scheduled. Maya downloaded it. Saved it. Printed it. 3 copies. Earl looked at the paper. That man sold his name cheap. Maya placed 1 copy in the city folder. 1 went to the lawyer by email. 1 stayed on the counter. At noon, the gym closed to members. Maya sent a message to everyone. Due to private legal proceedings, evening classes are canceled. We are safe. We are documenting everything. Denise did not like the word safe. You sure about that? No, Maya said. That's why you won't be inside. Denise folded her arms. I don't like that either. You'll be across the street at Delgado's with Earl, Helen, and Reverend Thomas. If anything goes wrong, you call the numbers on the list. And Tanya stays in the office. Tanya said. Tanya already agreed. Denise looked at her. Tanya needs better judgment. Tanya nodded. Often. At 4:30, the lawyer called. Her name was Grace Whitfield. Civil rights attorney. Direct voice. No wasted words. Maya, I have the documents. I also have the stream plan. Do not provoke him. Do not block the exit. Do not touch anyone unless you must prevent immediate harm. Let him speak. That's the plan. If he threatens fire, repeat what he said in a question. Maya wrote that down. Grace continued. If he produces the suspension order, ask when it was signed. If he lies, we have the metadata. If he tells the truth, we have the sequence. And if he makes me sign, you will not sign the transfer. You may write that you are being coerced. Clear language. No drama. Maya looked at the red hand wraps on the desk in the office. I know the words. At 6:15, Maya changed into a plain black sweatshirt. No logo. No jewelry except the key around her neck. She opened the lockbox and took out the red wraps. Tanya watched from the office door. You're putting them on? Yes. You said this wasn't a fight. It isn't. Then why? Maya wrapped her left hand. Because I need my hands to remember not to move. Tanya accepted that. By 6:40, the gym was ready. The front lights were on. The office lights were off. The laptop sat in the office, connected to the cameras. Tanya had 6 camera windows open and 1 live control panel. The private feed was armed but not public. Carla was waiting on the other end. Across the street, Delgado's store looked closed. It was not. Behind the pulled metal gate, Earl, Denise, Helen, Reverend Thomas, and Mr. Delgado waited with phones charged and screens open. At 6:52, a black SUV pulled up, then another. Derek Harland stepped out first. Navy overcoat, clean shoes, black folder. Behind him came 3 Iron Saints, the same tall man with the phone, a company lawyer with a gray briefcase, and one man Maya had not seen before. The new man carried a small camera rig. Tanya whispered through Maya's earpiece. They brought their own camera. Maya touched the earpiece once. I see it. Stream standby. Wait. Derek entered, without knocking. Miss Williams, he said. Ready to be reasonable? Maya stood behind the counter. Her wrapped hands rested flat on the wood. I'm ready to listen. Derek looked at the wraps. His eyes stayed there for half a second. Then he smiled. Planning something? No. Good. The company lawyer placed the transfer contract on the counter. Derek placed the signed suspension order beside it. You have 2 choices, Derek said. Sign the transfer tonight, and we help smooth out the closure. Refuse, and the suspension takes effect immediately. Your landlord has been notified. Your insurer has been notified. By Monday, this room becomes a liability. Maya looked at the suspension order. When was this signed? Derek's smile held. Today. Tanya's voice came through the earpiece. Lie, Maya said. The timestamp says yesterday at 4:13. Derek's face tightened. The lawyer touched his sleeve. Derek. Derek ignored him. Technical issue. Doesn't matter. It matters. No, Derek said. What matters is that you are out of time. He nodded once. 1 Iron Saint pulled the front blinds down. Another locked the front door. A third walked to the rear hall. Maya's eyes followed him. Doors. Stay open. Derek leaned closer. His voice dropped. Not tonight. The lights over the back half of the gym went out. Only the counter, the mirror, and the sign stayed lit. Tanya whispered. Maya, hold, Maya said under her breath. Derek put a pen on the contract. Sign. No. He stepped closer. You can lose this place on paper, or this old building can have an accident. Bad wiring, old walls, a little spark in the wrong corner. Maya did not move. Derek's voice got lower. People believe fires in old gyms. They don't ask many questions after the smoke clears. Maya looked at him. Are you threatening to burn down my gym if I don't sign? Derek smiled. The room stayed still. Then he said, I'm explaining risk. Maya picked up the pen. Tanya whispered, We have it. Maya lowered the tip to the contract. Derek watched her hand. She did not sign her name. She wrote 1 line across the first page, coerced under threat of arson. Derek looked at the words. For 1 second, he did not understand them. Then his face changed. What the hell is that? He said. Maya set the pen down. A record. The company lawyer leaned in and read the line. His mouth opened. then closed. He reached for the contract, but Maya placed one wrapped hand on the page. "Don't touch it," she said. Derek stepped closer. "You think this is cute? No. You think you can write whatever you want and make it true?" Maya looked at him. "You said the words. I explained risk. You threatened fire." Derek turned sharply toward his cameraman. "Cut it." The cameraman lowered the rig. From the office, Tanya's voice came through Maya's earpiece. "Their camera is down. Ours are live to private." Maya did not answer. Derek pointed at the contract. "Tear that page off." The lawyer grabbed his wrist. "Do not say another word." Derek pulled free. "I said, tear it off." Maya lifted her eyes to the front mirror. The large monitor mounted above the training schedule turned on. 6 camera feeds appeared at once. Front door, counter, rear hall, office entrance, side wall, mirror angle. Derek froze. On the screen, the room replayed itself in real time. The front blinds were down. The front lock was turned. One iron saint stood near the rear hallway. Derek's suspension paper sat beside the contract. The company lawyer stood with his briefcase open. Maya stood behind the counter with red wraps on her hands. Then the audio line appeared at the bottom of the feed. Active. The tall iron saint with the phone stepped back. "Boss." Tanya came out of the office holding the borrowed phone in one hand and a tablet in the other. "Your camera had one angle," she said. "Ours has the room." Derek stared at her. "You recorded a private legal meeting." Tanya stopped beside Maya. "You locked the doors. You consented to this meeting." "No," Maya said. "I allowed you to enter. I did not allow you to threaten me." The company lawyer looked at the cameras, then at Derek. "We need to leave." Derek ignored him. "Turn it off." Tanya tapped the tablet once. The monitor switched to a saved clip from 5 minutes earlier. Derek's voice filled the room. "You can lose this place on paper, or this old building can have an accident. Bad wiring, old walls, a little spark in the wrong corner." The clip ended. No one moved. The company lawyer's face went pale. "Derek," Tanya said. "There's more." The screen changed. The front camera showed the Iron Saint pulling the blinds down. The side feed showed the front door being locked. The rear camera showed another man blocking the back hall. The counter feed showed Derek placing the suspension order on the table. Maya looked at Derek. "You brought a signed suspension order." Derek said nothing. Maya picked up the paper. "You told me it was signed today." The monitor changed again. Tanya displayed a close view of the document metadata and the email attachment. Timestamp: Thursday, 4:13 p.m., Tanya said. Inspector Whitmore signed it before any final review. Before tonight. Before the meeting he never attended. The lawyer closed his briefcase. Derek turned on him. "Don't move." The lawyer looked at him. "I'm not going to prison for your mouth." That was the first crack. The Iron Saints saw it. Maya saw them see it. Derek turned back to Maya. His voice lowered again, but this time the room had already heard him. "You don't know what you're doing." Maya's breathing stayed even. "I know exactly what I'm doing." "You think a few cameras save you?" "No." Tanya raised the tablet. "Backups do." The monitor showed file names as they uploaded. Friday. Front. Feed. Friday. Counter. Audio. Friday. Rear. Hall. Friday. Coercion. Clip. Friday. Suspension. Order. Derek lunged toward the counter. Maya did not flinch. He stopped short because the lawyer grabbed him again. Harder this time. "Do not touch her," the lawyer said. Derek shoved him off. "She set us up." Maya said, "You set the meeting. You brought the contract. You brought the order. You locked the doors." Tanya added, "You brought the threat." Derek's jaw worked. His eyes moved to the cameras, then to the door, then to the men he had brought with him. The tall Iron Saint lowered his phone. Another one near the rear hall stepped away from the door. Derek saw it. "Stay where you are." The man did not move back. Tanya tapped the tablet again. The monitor changed to a live folder view. City. Tanya. Bait attempt. Insurance. Landlord. Media. Friday. Derek stared at the list. "What is that?" Maya said. "The full version." Tanya opened the bait attempt folder. The video played. 2 iron saints entering through the rear door. One holding a phone, the other reaching for Maya's shoulder. Maya slipping outside the grab without touching him. The second reach. Maya ducking under it. The lunge. The heavy bag. Maya's voice on the clip. "You are on camera. Leave." The tall iron saint with the phone cursed under his breath. Derek turned on him. "You said nothing happened." The man looked at the floor. "She didn't hit him." Derek's face tightened. Tanya paused the clip on Maya, standing still with open hands. "You tried to get footage of her attacking someone," Tanya said. "She didn't." Derek pointed at the monitor. "This proves she's trained," Maya answered before Tanya could. "It proves I didn't hurt anyone." The company lawyer looked toward the door again. "This meeting is over." "No," Derek said. "Yes," Maya said. She picked up the contract with the line she had written across it and slid it into a clear plastic sleeve. Derek reached for it. Maya pulled it back 2 inches. "Don't," she said. "One word." Derek stopped. Not because she shouted. She had not. Not because she raised a hand. She had not. He stopped because every camera caught his arm in the air. Tanya noticed. "That's better." Derek turned toward her. "You think you're smart? I think you're still being recorded." His phone rang. Then the lawyer's phone rang. Then the cameraman's phone buzzed. Derek looked at the screen. He did not answer. Tanya's tablet flashed. She glanced down. Her face changed. Maya saw it. "What?" Tanya looked at Derek. Then she looked at Maya. "Carla says Harland's scheduled stream just opened." Derek's eyes narrowed. "Who the hell is Carla?" Tanya held the tablet closer to her chest. Maya stayed still. "Is it public?" Tanya swallowed once. "Not yet," she said. "But it's ready." Derek looked from Tanya to the monitor. For the first time that night, he seemed unsure of the room he was standing in. Maya picked up the signed suspension order and placed it beside the contract, in the sleeve. Then she looked at Tanya. "Send the clean feed." Tanya did not move for half a second. Then her fingers went to work. She tapped the tablet, checked the audio source, selected the counter camera as the main feed, and pushed the backup angles into the stream queue. On the laptop in the office, the signal bar turned green. Derek stepped toward her. "Don't touch that." Maya moved 1 foot, just enough to stand between him and Tanya. Derek stopped. "Move." "No." The company lawyer grabbed Derek's sleeve again. "Let this go." Derek pulled free. "You work for me tonight." "No," the lawyer said. "I represent the company, and right now, you are creating exposure." Tanya looked at the tablet. "Carla has the routing." Derek turned toward the lawyer. "What routing?" The lawyer did not answer. Tanya spoke clearly. Harland Development had a public live stream scheduled for 7. Community redevelopment announcement. New apartments, new retail, new future for East Cleveland. Derek stared at her. She continued. "Your company forgot to remove an old contractor from the broadcast system." The lawyer's face changed at once. Tanya tapped one final button. "We didn't break into anything. We sent a clean live source to a scheduled public feed." Derek's phone began ringing again. This time he answered. "What?" Maya watched his face. He looked at the monitor, then at the cameras, then at Tanya. "What do you mean it's live?" Tanya turned the tablet so Maya could see. The stream title appeared on the screen. Harland Development Group presents A Safer Future for East Cleveland. Below, it was not a polished video of new apartment renderings. It was Derek Harland standing inside Williams Boxing and Community Gym, with the doors locked, blinds down, a signed suspension order on the counter, and Maya Williams behind it, with red wraps on her hands. Comments began to appear. "What is this? Is this live? Why are they inside that gym? Did he just threaten a fire?" Tagging Channel 8. "Someone record this." Derek lowered the phone slowly. Tanya said, "Welcome to your company's announcement." The tall iron saint cursed and pulled his hood up. "Don't cover your face," Tanya said. "That looks bad on camera." He dropped his hand. Across the street, behind the metal gate of Delgado's grocery, phones lit up. Earl Patterson watched the stream on Helen's phone. Denise had already started calling every person she knew. Reverend Thomas stood near the window with his own phone pressed to his ear. "Yes," he said. "It is live." No, do not wait. Call the reporter now. Inside the gym, Derek tried to recover. This is illegal, he said. Maya said, threatening to burn a building is illegal. I did not threaten anything. Tanya touched the tablet. The clip replayed through the live stream. You can lose this place on paper, or this old building can have an accident. Bad wiring, old walls, a little spark in the wrong corner. The comments moved faster. He said, Spark? That's a threat. Who is this guy? Is that Harland Development? Why is a private company holding suspension papers? Tag the mayor's office. The company lawyer stepped back from Derek. I am formally advising everyone present not to touch anything, not to obstruct anyone, and not to make further statements. Derek snapped. Shut up. The lawyer looked at the nearest camera. Let the record show I advised against further statements. Tanya almost smiled. That was helpful. Derek pointed at her. You think this saves your job? Tanya held the tablet steady. I think you should keep talking. His jaw tightened. His phone kept ringing. He ignored it. The cameraman lowered his rig to his side and stepped toward the door. Derek turned. Where are you going? I'm freelance, the man said. I'm not part of this. You are now. No, the man said. I'm not. He unlocked the front door. Maya noticed the movement. So did the stream. The comments changed again. They locked the door? He had to unlock it? This is coercion. Someone call the police. The man opened the door and walked out into the rain. Outside, 2 people on the sidewalk had stopped. One held up a phone. A car slowed near the curb. Then another. The live stream was moving faster than the room could control. Derek saw the open door and pointed at the Iron Saint nearest it. Close that. The man did not move. I said close it. The man looked at the camera on the wall. I'm not touching that door. Maya watched Derek register the shift. His men were no longer thinking about Maya. They were thinking about themselves, Tanya said. The stream passed 10,000 views. The lawyer muttered, God. Derek turned on him. Fix it. I can't fix live evidence. Call corporate. They're calling me. Derek's phone rang again. He answered and walked 2 steps away, but the counter audio still caught him. No, I don't know how it got on the page. Shut it down. Shut it down now. Tanya spoke toward the camera. For anyone joining, this is Williams Boxing and Community Gym in East Cleveland. Derek Harland of Harland Development came here tonight with a pre-signed suspension order and a transfer contract. The doors were locked from the inside. The gym owner was told the building could have an accident if she didn't sign. Maya looked at her. Tanya. Tanya nodded and stopped. Facts only. Maya turned back to Derek. You can leave. Derek covered the phone and glared at her. This isn't over. No, Maya said. Now it has witnesses. His face flushed. He looked less polished now. His coat was still clean. His shoes were still clean. But his breathing had changed. He spoke too fast. His eyes kept moving to the comments on the monitor. The stream count climbed. Tanya whispered. Reporters are in the comments. Maya said. Clip the threat. Pin the full feed. Done. Derek heard that. You're finished. You hear me? I will bury this place in court. Maya picked up the suspension order and held it where the counter camera could see. This document was signed yesterday at 4:13 p.m. by Inspector Leonard Whitmore. Tonight was described as a voluntary resolution meeting. Mr. Harland told me it was signed today. The lawyer closed his eyes. Tanya changed the screen to show the metadata. No caption, no opinion, just the file properties and the email header. Maya set the paper down. I am not signing a transfer, she said. I am preserving evidence. The comment feed kept moving. Grace Whitfield, Maya's attorney, appeared in the live stream comments using her verified law office account. Miss Williams, do not sign. Police and fire marshal have been notified. Preserve all documents. Tanya read it aloud. Derek looked toward the door. Rain blew in through the opening. The tall Iron Saint wiped his palms on his jacket. One of Derek's other men spoke for the first time. Derek, man, I didn't know about no fire threat. Derek turned on him. Shut your mouth. The man looked at the live stream on the monitor. No, I'm saying it now. I didn't know. That comment landed in the room. Maya did not react. Tanya saved the clip. The company lawyer lifted his briefcase. I am leaving. Mr. Harland, I advise you to do the same, without further comment. Derek stood alone for 3 seconds, not physically alone. His men were still there. His lawyer was still near the door. His papers were still on the counter. But the room had turned. The cameras were running. The company page was broadcasting. The comments were multiplying. His own people were stepping away from him. His lawyer had put distance between them on record. Maya had not raised her voice once. Derek looked at her. You planned this, Maya said. You scheduled the meeting, Tanya added. And the live stream. Derek's eyes cut to the monitor again. The Harland Development logo sat above the live feed. Every second made the company part of it. Outside, the first police lights reflected in the wet street. Tanya saw them through the window. They're here. Maya stood behind the counter. Her hands stayed flat beside the contract. Derek looked toward the lights, then back at the open door. He had walked in with papers, cameras, men, and a signed order. Now he had all of them on record. The first officers entered through the front door with rain on their jackets. Maya stayed behind the counter. Tanya stood to her right with the tablet still in both hands. Derek stood near the contract. His lawyer stood closer to the door now. The Iron Saints kept space between themselves and everyone else. One officer looked at the monitor, then at the open live stream, then at Maya's wrapped hands. Who called this in? He asked. Tanya said, Our attorney, Reverend Thomas. Half the internet. The officer did not smile. Is anyone injured? No, Maya said. Any weapons? No. Derek stepped forward. Officer, this is a private civil matter. We came here to resolve a transfer agreement, and Miss Williams staged an unauthorized broadcast. Maya said nothing. Tanya raised the tablet. The full feed is live. The doors were locked. He threatened fire. The suspension order was signed before the meeting. Derek snapped. That is not what happened. The officer looked at the monitor again. Derek's own voice was still clipped in the pinned segment. The line about the old building and a little spark replayed for new viewers. The officer turned back to Derek. Sir, step away from the counter. Derek's face tightened. You don't understand who I represent, the second officer said. Step away from the counter. Derek looked toward his lawyer. The lawyer did not help him. Comply. Derek stepped back. Outside, more people gathered near the sidewalk. Phones were up. Rain hit the pavement. The Harland Development live stream was still running. Then a third car pulled up across the street. Coach Raymond Ellis got out slowly. He held a long, dark case in one hand. Tanya saw him through the glass. Maya turned. Raymond crossed the street without rushing. Reverend Thomas came out from Delgado's grocery and held the door for him. Raymond entered the gym, shook rain from his coat once, and looked at the room. His eyes went to Maya first. She saw the case. For the first time that night, her face changed. Only a little. Raymond walked to the counter. Derek looked at him. Who is this? Raymond did not answer him. Maya, he said. Her voice was low. Coach. Tanya looked from one to the other. Coach? Raymond placed the case on the counter, but he kept one hand on it. You sure? Maya looked at the monitor. At the live stream. At Derek. At Tanya. At the torn place in the room where the contract sat beside the suspension order. Then she looked back at Raymond. Yes. Raymond opened the case. Inside was a world championship belt. The leather was dark. The plates were gold. The center plate carried a name. Maya Williams. World lightweight boxing champion. The Cleveland Storm. The room went silent. Tanya stared at the belt. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. One of the Iron Saints whispered, No way. Derek looked from the belt to Maya. That's fake. Raymond turned to him. No. The phone in Tanya's hand shook once. She steadied it. The livestream comments moved too fast to read. Wait. What? She's a champion? The Cleveland Storm? Somebody search that name. I remember her. My dad watched her fight. Channel 8 just joined. Maya did not touch the belt at first. She looked at it the way a person looks at a sealed record they had not planned to open in public. Raymond took the belt from the case and laid it on the counter beside the contract. beside the words Maya had written, coerced under threat of arson. The belt did not cover the contract. It sat next to it. Tanya turned the main camera slightly, just enough to catch the name on the plate. Her voice was quiet. Maya. Maya looked at her. I know. You never told me. No. Derek recovered enough to speak. So what? She used to box. That proves my point. This woman is trained. She's dangerous. Maya finally looked at him. No, she said. It proves I know how not to hit you. The line stayed in the room. Raymond looked toward the officer. I trained her. The officer looked at the belt. You're saying she's the same Maya Williams? Raymond said. I'm saying she was world champion at 23. Retired at 24. Bought this gym with prize money and sponsorship checks she never spent on herself. Tanya's eyes moved back to Maya. Maya kept her face still, but her fingers pressed once against the counter. Derek said, This is a stunt. Tanya turned toward the live stream. For everyone watching, the belt was not in this building. Coach Raymond Ellis brought it here after Mr. Harland threatened Maya and after the cameras were already live. This does not change the evidence. It explains why they were wrong about her. Maya said, Tanya, facts. Tanya said, I'm giving facts. The comments surged again. A local sports reporter entered the feed. Confirmed. Maya the Cleveland Storm Williams held the WLA lightweight title. Retired undefeated from title fights. More soon. Another comment appeared from Grace Whitfield's verified account. Preserve belt reveal timestamp. It supports public interest context, not the coercion claim. Keep documents visible. Tanya read it and adjusted the camera. The contract stayed in frame. The suspension order stayed in frame. The belt stayed in frame. Derek looked at the monitor. He saw the same thing everyone else saw now. Not a disorderly gym owner, not a woman hiding trouble. A former world champion standing still while a man with papers and hired muscle tried to force her out. His old story was breaking in public. He tried again. She ran a violent business under false pretenses. Maya looked at him. My members knew they were in a boxing gym. You hid who you were. I kept my private life private. You deceived people. No, Tanya said. You did. The officer lifted a hand. Enough. Mr. Harlan, we need to separate everyone and take statements. Derek pointed at the belt. You see what she's doing, right? She's using fame to turn this into race and publicity. Maya picked up the belt then. Not high. Not as a trophy. She held it at chest level so the center plate faced the cameras. I hid this because I got tired of people calling black women dangerous every time we refused to be small, she said. Tonight, I'm not showing it to threaten anyone. I'm showing it because he spent a week telling this city I was something to fear. The truth is simpler. I built a gym. I said no to a bad offer. He tried to take the rest. No one interrupted. Rain tapped against the open doorway. Raymond stood beside her. Tanya stood on the other side. The belt caught the overhead light. The contract stayed under the camera. Derek's face stayed on the monitor in the corner feed. Then the first news van turned onto the block. Tanya saw it through the window. They're here. Derek's lawyer put one hand over his eyes. The tall Iron Saint backed away from Derek and spoke to the nearest officer. I want to make a statement. Derek turned on him. Don't you say a damn word. The officer stepped between them. Sir, stop talking. The Iron Saint raised both hands. I didn't know about the fire thing. I got texts. I can show you. Tanya saved the clip. Maya lowered the belt and placed it back on the counter. Raymond closed the empty case. The live stream count kept climbing. The comments were no longer asking whether the gym was dangerous. They were asking who signed the order, who paid the inspector, who edited the first video, who owned the redevelopment project, who sent the Iron Saints. Derek stood in the middle of the room he had tried to control. Maya stood behind the counter. She had not moved more than a few feet all night. She had not raised her voice. She had not thrown a punch. Now the whole city knew her name. 3 months later, the front door opened at 5 in the morning. Maya turned on the lights. The gym did not look new. She had refused that. New would have felt dishonest. The floor still had old boards, but they were repaired and sealed. The heavy bags hung straight. The mirror had been replaced. though Maya had kept one narrow strip from the old glass in a frame near the office. On it, faint gray marks still showed where the words had been cleaned away. The sign above the mirror stayed where it had always been. No ego, no hate, no quitting. Under it, a new mural covered the long wall. Strength is not cruelty. Silence is not surrender. Tanya had argued about the wording for 2 weeks. It sounds like something you'd say when you're trying not to admit you're emotional, she had said. Maya had looked at the wall. Then it fits. The first class filled before 5:30. Earl Patterson came in with a new brace on his right knee and a bag of oranges for the counter. Nurse Helen came straight from night shift. Denise Carter brought her red gloves again and left them on the shelf this time. Mr. Delgado walked over with coffee and a stack of flyers for the Legal Defense Fund that had started as one donation jar and turned into a neighborhood account for small businesses facing pressure from developers. Reverend Thomas arrived in a gray suit, even though Maya had told him it was not a church service. He said, "Every place has a pulpit when truth gets spoken there." Tanya rolled her eyes. "Reverend, you had that ready. I prepare." At 6, the room was full enough that Maya had to ask people to move their bags away from the walkway. Not everyone trained. Some came to watch. Some came because they had canceled memberships and wanted to apologize. Maya accepted each apology the same way. "I understand." That was all. A woman named Mrs. Henson stood near the front desk with her coat buttoned up to her throat. She had paused her membership after the article. She held a folded check in both hands. "I should have called you," she said. Maya did not make her suffer longer. "You were scared. I was wrong. Both can be true." Mrs. Henson nodded and wiped under one eye. "Can I come back?" Maya handed her a waiver form. "You never left the system." Tanya looked away and pretended to organize pens. At 7:15, Grace Whitfield arrived with official letters. She did not bring drama. She brought copies. The conditional suspension had been withdrawn. The violations tied to vandalism had been cleared. The city had opened an internal investigation into Inspector Whitmore, who was now on administrative leave. Tanya's police file had been formally closed, with no finding of wrongdoing. The anonymous complaint network was under review. Harland Development Group was under investigation for coercion, improper influence, and interference with local businesses. Derek Harland had not been convicted yet. Grace would not let anyone say otherwise, but he had been removed from active control of the East Cleveland project. His company had issued a public statement full of careful regret and no real apology. Tanya printed it, circled the empty words, and filed it under media. Maya did not frame it. She framed the withdrawal notice. At 8, Coach Raymond Ellis came in carrying the belt case. This time, Maya did not tense when she saw it. Raymond placed the case on the counter. "You ready?" Maya looked around the room. "For what?" "To stop hiding it in my closet." Tanya, who had been pretending not to listen, turned at once. Finally, Maya gave her a look. "You had an opinion?" "I have had one for 3 months." Raymond opened the case and lifted the championship belt with both hands. The gym grew quiet, but not empty quiet. This silence had people in it. Raymond carried the belt to the wall beside the mural. Earl had built a wooden display frame from oak he had salvaged from an old church pew. Under the frame, Tanya had placed a smaller shadow box with Maya's red hand wraps. Maya stood back. The belt went up first, then the wraps, gold and red. Title and discipline. Past and choice. Denise crossed her arms. "Looks right," Helen said. "Looks earned." Raymond stepped down from the small ladder. "Looks late." Maya looked at him. "You enjoyed saying that." "I waited years." Tanya came to Maya's side. "Do you regret hiding it?" Maya kept her eyes on the belt. "No," she said. "I regret thinking I had to hide to be safe." Tanya did not answer. She did not need to. By noon, the gym held an open house. No speeches were planned, which meant Reverend Thomas made one anyway. He spoke about businesses that served people before they served money. He spoke about elders being pushed out by paperwork. He spoke about fear that dressed itself as progress. He did not say Derek's name. He did not have to. Mr. Delgado spoke next, even though he said he would not. His hands shook a little around the microphone. "They broke my window," he said. But they wanted me to believe my neighbor was the danger. That is how these things work. They try to make us look at each other instead of at the hand pushing us. People nodded. Some looked down. Some looked across the room at someone they had doubted. Then Tanya took the microphone. Maya lifted an eyebrow. Tanya shrugged. 2 minutes. That was a lie. I was angry. Tanya said, I'm still angry. But I learned something here. Anger without proof can be used against you. Proof with courage can change a room. So, take pictures. Save emails. Write down names. Don't let anybody tell you your memory is too emotional to matter. The room answered with applause. Maya stood near the counter with her arms folded. Grace stood beside her. You should say something. Grace said, I own the building now. Isn't that enough? Grace smiled. No, that part still felt unreal. After the live stream, Mr. Hanley had wanted distance from the trouble. Harland's offer disappeared. The neighborhood fund, Raymond's old contacts, a fair loan, and a group of local investors helped Maya buy the building before another company could. The closing papers sat in a drawer under the counter. Tanya had made 3 copies. Maya took the microphone only because the room would not stop looking at her. She stood beneath the mural and let the quiet settle. When I opened this gym, I thought strength meant control, she said. I still believe that. But I used to think control meant keeping parts of myself locked away so no one could twist them. I was wrong about that part. She looked at the belt, then at the hand wraps. A man came here with money, papers, cameras, and fear. He wanted this place to become small before he took it. He wanted us ashamed. He wanted us divided. He wanted one angry moment he could sell as the whole truth. Her eyes moved to Tanya, then to Earl, Helen, Denise, Delgado, Reverend Thomas, Raymond, Grace, and the members standing shoulder to shoulder. He did not get it because this room held. Not perfectly, not without fear, but it held. A woman near the back wiped her face. Earl looked at the floor. Tanya stared straight ahead and did not blink. Maya continued, This gym is not here because I was champion. It is here because people decided the full version mattered. She handed the microphone back before applause could trap her in place. Later, when the crowd thinned and the afternoon light came through the clean glass, Maya stood alone by the mural. Tanya came up beside her with 2 paper cups of coffee. You know people are going to ask for autographs now, Tanya said. They can ask Raymond. They don't want Raymond. He'll be hurt. Tanya laughed once. It was the first easy laugh Maya had heard from her in months. Outside, Mr. Delgado unlocked his store for the afternoon. Denise taped a flyer for the legal fund in the window. Helen helped Mrs. Henson adjust her hand wraps. Earl checked the heavy bag chains, even though they did not need checking. Reverend Thomas stood on the sidewalk, talking to a reporter about the church annex and zoning pressure. Life had not become simple. It had become clearer. Maya looked at the belt on the wall, then at the old mirror strip framed near the office, then at the sign above the floor. No ego, no hate, no quitting. Tanya handed her a cup. So what now? Maya took it. Class at 5. That's your answer? Yes. Tanya shook her head. World champion, building owner, local legend. Still boring. Maya looked at her. Still disciplined. Tanya smiled. There it is. At 5. Maya stepped onto the mat. The room filled again. Adults of every age stood in front of her. Some were strong. Some were nervous. Some had come for fitness. Some had come because they had watched a woman refuse to be pushed out of her own life. Maya raised her wrapped hands. Control first, she said. The class answered. Power later. Maya nodded. The first bell rang. Maya did not win because she threw the final punch. She won because she let the truth stand up in her place. The lesson of Maya Williams' story is simple but powerful. Real strength is not always loud, and justice does not always arrive through anger. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who refuses to be provoked, keeps the truth alive, and lets evidence speak when lies become too loud. Maya showed us that silence is not weakness when it is guided by discipline, and that a community can survive intimidation when people choose courage, loyalty, and the full truth over fear. Thank you for listening to this story until the very end. Your time, your attention, and your heart means so much to this channel. Please let us know what you think about the way this story was told. Was there a moment that touched you, surprised you, or made you think about justice in a new way? And if you have a true story, a meaningful experience, or an inspiring idea you believe should be shared, please send it to the channel. Your story might become the next one that gives someone hope, strength, and the courage to stand up for what is right. This video is a work of fiction created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. All characters, events, and situations are not real and do not represent any actual people or true stories. The content is intended for storytelling and emotional illustration only.